Okay, so, failing the bar exam, it's tough, right? Especially like when you've already put in so much work the first time around and now you got to gear up and do it all again. It's like, oh, not what you had in mind.
Hmm.
But hey, you're definitely not alone. A lot of people go through this. And that's actually what we're going to dive into today. Strategies, especially for those of you facing a bar exam rematch.
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, we've got this awesome free ebook from Celebration Bar Review
Oh, cool.
called Overcoming Bar Exam Failure, a guide for repeat takers. So it's literally made for this situation, and it's packed with advice. And think of it like your secret weapon.
Yeah.
It's a roadmap to help you navigate all those challenges ahead and hopefully make this your LS bar exam.
Love that. And you know what's so cool about this ebook? It acknowledges the emotional and psychological weight that comes with retaking the bar exam. It's not just about knowing the law, right? It's about having the mental toughness to apply that knowledge under pressure. And they really tackle that head on right from the start in chapter 1. They focus on those mental hurdles so many repeat takers face.
Yes. Chapter 1, those feelings of self-doubt, that fear of failing again, the weight of expectations, it's all there. It's like they were reading my diary after my first bar exam.
Yeah.
Like it can feel like you're battling those inner demons,
Yeah.
just as much as you're tackling legal concepts.
It's true. And that's where Celebration Bar Review's approach really stands out, I think. They've designed their whole program with these challenges in mind. They offer personal mentorship, which means you're not just getting generic advice, right? It's tailored guidance from someone who understands your specific situation, your strengths, your weaknesses.
It's like having a personal coach in your corner, someone who's been there, done that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And they can help you avoid those pitfalls that might have tripped you up before.
I like that. Okay, so you've got this person in your corner, but they also have weekly group coaching sessions,
Yeah.
which I think could be so valuable. It's easy to feel isolated
Yeah.
when you're going through this again.
It is. It really is. And those group coaching sessions, they're amazing for combating that feeling. You get to connect with others who are going through the same thing, share experiences, support each other.
It can be a game changer. And we know it's not just about emotional support, right? This ebook also talks about some specific techniques for building mental toughness.
Absolutely. They incorporate things like mindfulness exercises, visualization techniques, and strategies for managing stress and anxiety, all designed to help you stay focused, perform at your best on exam day.
Okay, so we tackled the mental game,
Mm-hmm.
but let's be real, studying for the bar exam, again, especially after a setback, can lead to serious burnout.
Mm.
You're probably thinking, I already climbed this mountain once. Do I really have to do it all over again?
Right. And Chapter 2 dives into this very issue, combating test fatigue and burnout. And Celebration Bar Review has structured their program to address this head on.
Okay, tell me more. Because the thought of cracking open those books again can feel pretty daunting.
It can, well, instead of the rigid one-size-fits-all approach that so many bar prep courses offer. Celebration Bar Review offers flexible on-demand study modules.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so you can learn at your own pace on your own schedule, which can be huge for preventing overwhelm.
So no more feeling like you're drowning in a sea of legal jargon, with a deadline looming over your head.
Exactly. They also emphasize reducing cognitive overload by breaking down the material into digestible chunks and encouraging regular breaks in recovery time. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
Smart, not hard. I
Thank-
like that. So it's less about brute force memorization
Right.
and more about strategic learning. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. And they recognize that everyone learns differently, so they offer various resources and approaches to cater to those individual learning styles. Some people learn best through lectures, others through practice questions, and still others through visual aids. They've got you covered no matter your preferred learning method.
All right, so we've talked about the mental game and how to combat burnout. But now let's get real about study habits. What if you're repeating the same study methods that didn't work the first time? Is it just a matter of trying harder, or is there a smarter approach?
That's a great question. And it's something that Chapter 3 really dives into, breaking ineffective study habits. And one of the key things Celebration Bar Review emphasizes is the importance of active practice over passive review.
Okay, so less about highlighting every word in the textbook and more about actually applying the concepts.
Precisely. They move away from rote memorization and encourage you to engage with the material in a more active way. For example, they have an extensive database of real bar exam essay and MBE questions.
Wait, MBE questions. For those listening who might not be familiar with bar exam lingo, could you quickly explain what MBE questions are and why they're important?
Sure, MBE stands for Multi-State Bar Examination. It's a standardized multiple-choice exam that's used as part of the bar exam in most U.S. states. And these MBE questions are designed to test your knowledge of fundamental legal principles across a range of subjects. So practicing with real MBE questions is a great way to get comfortable with the format and the types of questions you're likely to encounter on the actual exam. It's like taking a practice test before the big game.
That makes perfect sense. So Celebration Bar Review is providing these real exam questions so that you can not just memorize the law, but actually see how it's tested in a realistic setting. It's about bridging the gap between theory and application.
Exactly. And their approach is all about helping you develop the skills you need to succeed on exam day, not just passing a practice test.
Okay, so we've got mental toughness, burnout prevention, and active learning strategies. But there's another big challenge that many repeat bar takers face: time management. Many people are juggling work, family, other commitments, making dedicated study time a major challenge.
Absolutely. And that's where Chapter 4 comes in Mastering Time Management. Celebration Bar Review recognizes this challenge and offers practical tools and strategies to help you maximize your study time no matter how limited it might be.
So it's about working smarter, not harder, right? Finding those pockets of time throughout your day and making the most of them.
Exactly. They help you create customized study plans, break down your study goals into manageable chunks, and prioritize tasks based on their importance and urgency.
So it's less about cramming everything in at the last minute
Right.
and more about creating a sustainable study schedule that fits into your life. That sounds way less stressful.
Way less stressful. And speaking of stress, let's talk about something that can feel like a monster for many bar exam takers. Content overload. I mean, you open those bar prep books and it's like staring into an abyss of legal jargon. You're not wrong. And Chapter 5 tackles this very issue, managing content overload. And what's great about Celebration Bar Review's approach is that they don't just throw everything at you and say, figure it out.
Right.
They focus on what they call high-yield content.
Okay, so break that down for us.
Yeah.
What does high-yield content mean in the context of the bar exam?
Essentially, it means the material that is most likely to appear on the exam. So they analyze past exams, identify trends, and focus your attention on the concepts and legal principles that are most likely to be tested. This way, you're not wasting your time on obscure topics that might not even show up on the exam. You're laser focused on the stuff that matters most.
So it's like having a guide who says, hey, instead trying to climb that entire mountain range, let's focus on conquering this specific peak because that's where the best views are.
That's a great analogy. It's about strategic studying, not just brute force memorization.
I love that. And speaking of feeling overwhelmed and maybe even a bit defeated, let's talk about something that can be a real struggle for repeat takers. Negative self-talk, failing an exam like the bar, it can really knock your confidence. And it's easy to fall into that trap thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for this.
It is. And Chapter 6 addresses this head-on, breaking the negative feedback loop. And Celebration Bar Review understands how crucial mindset is to success. That's why their mentorship program is specifically designed to help you shift from negative self-talk to a more positive and growth-oriented mindset.
So it's not just about knowing the law, it's about believing in yourself and your ability to succeed.
Absolutely. They provide personalized feedback that focuses on learning from mistakes, not dwelling on them. They help you identify your strengths, celebrate your progress, and develop a more resilient mindset to overcome challenges.
It's like having a cheerleader in your corner, reminding you why you started this journey in the first place, and encouraging you to keep going, even when things get tough.
Exactly. And they also emphasize the importance of self-care, recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. They encourage you to take breaks, get enough sleep, eat healthy foods, and engage in activities that bring you joy and help you de-stress.
Because let's be real, taking the bar exam again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you need to pace yourself both mentally and physically.
You do. You need to recharge. And speaking of finding the right resources, let's talk about the sheer volume of bar prep materials out there.
Oh my gosh, it can feel like a jungle.
It is. It's a jungle.
Man.
How do you know where to start, what's worth your time, and what's just going to add to the overwhelm?
Right.
And that's something that Chapter 7 explores, finding the right guidance and resources. And what's key here is that Celebration Bar Review specializes in repeat takers.
Okay.
They understand the unique challenges you face and have designed their program to address those specific needs.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. They offer tailored guidance that goes beyond generic advice. Their one-on-one tutoring and personalized feedback ensure you're getting the support you need in the areas where you need it most. They also recognize that repeat takers often have a different level of knowledge and experience than first-time takers, so they adjust their approach accordingly.
So you're not just getting thrown into the deep end with a bunch of first-time takers who are just starting their bar prep journey.
Right. You're in a group with people who are at a similar stage in their journey, facing similar challenges and looking for similar solutions. And that can be incredibly valuable. You can learn from each other's experiences, share strategies, and support each other along the way.
I love that. It's like having a tribe of people who get it, who understand the ups and downs of this process, and who are there to help you navigate those challenges.
Exactly. And they also recognize that life doesn't stop. Just because you're studying for the bar exam, you might have work commitments, family responsibilities, or other obligations. That can make it challenging to find dedicated study time.
That's so true. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole sometimes, trying to squeeze in study hours around all of life's other demands.
It is. And that's where Celebration Bar Review's flexibility really shines. Their on-demand courses allow you to study when it's convenient for you, whether that's early mornings, late nights, or weekends. They also provide strategies for staying focused amidst distractions, recognizing that real life is full of those.
So it's less about finding a perfect distraction-free bubble,
Right.
and more about learning to manage those distractions and make the most of the time you have available.
Precisely. And they understand that everyone's life is different. So they work with you to create a study schedule that fits your individual needs and circumstances. They're not trying to force you into a mold. They're helping you create a plan that works for you.
I love that approach. It's about empowering you to take control of your bar prep journey and create a path to success that feels manageable and sustainable. And speaking of creating a path to success, let's talk about something that can be a real game changer for repeat bar takers, turning past experiences into a strategic advantage.
Oh, that's huge. It's easy to view a past bar exam failure as a setback, but it can also be an incredible learning opportunity. You've already taken the exam, which means you have valuable insights that first-time takers simply don't have. You know what it feels like to sit for that exam? You have a sense of the pacing, and you can pinpoint those areas where you need to focus your energy.
It's like having a scout report from the battlefield, right? You've seen the terrain, you know where the enemy is hiding, and you can use that knowledge to your advantage.
Exactly. And Celebration Bar Review helps you leverage that experience through their personalized feedback and one-on-one coaching. They'll work with you to analyze your past performance, identify your strengths and weaknesses, and create a study plan that's tailored to your specific needs.
It's like having a personal trainer for the bar exam who's reviewed your workout videos and is now creating a customized training regimen based on your strengths and weaknesses and goals. They're not just giving you generic advice, they're using your past experience to inform your future approach.
Exactly. They'll help you identify those areas where you need to focus your energy, those concepts that might have tripped you up in the past, and they'll provide targeted strategies to help you master those areas.
Yeah.
It's about efficiency and effectiveness, maximizing the return on your investment of time and effort.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot in this first part of our deep dive. Everything from conquering mental barriers and combating burnout to finding the right resources and turning past experiences into a strategic advantage. But there's so much more to unpack. We'll be back in our next episode to explore even more strategies for bar exam success, specifically focusing on those high-yield content areas and how to master them.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive into overcoming bar exam failure, a guide for repeat takers. So we've talked about the importance of mindset and study habits, but you might be thinking, okay, but how do I actually make this time different? Like how do I deal with all the distractions? And that's where Chapter 8 comes in. It's all about managing those real-life distractions and pressures that can totally derail even the best intentions.
Yeah, because life doesn't just pause for the bar exam, right? Like work deadlines, family commitments. That pile of laundry calling your name. It can feel like you're trying to study while juggling flaming torches.
Exactly. And Celebration Bar Review gets that. They've designed their program with this in mind. Their on-demand courses mean you can study whenever works for you, early mornings, late nights, during your lunch break. It's all about fitting bar prep into your existing life, not the other way around.
So no more guilt tripping yourself for not
Ugh.
sticking to some rigid schedule that doesn't actually match your life.
Nope. No guilt trips here. They even provide strategies for staying focused amidst distractions. Noise-canceling headphones, creating a dedicated study space. Even techniques for gently reminding well-meaning loved ones that you need some focused time. It's about taking control of your environment as much as you can.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're managing distractions, but let's talk about the actual learning process. Chapter 9 focuses on developing critical thinking skills. And this is something I think a lot of people, myself included, might have stumbled on in the past. Knowing the law is one thing, But applying it, analyzing those tricky hypotheticals, that's a whole different ball game.
It is, and Celebration Bar Review really emphasizes this shift. From memorization to application, they go beyond just outlining the rules and dive deep into how to actually USC them. They have these essay workshops where you break down real exam questions, learn how to structure your answers, and get feedback on your reasoning and analysis.
So it's less about regurgitating information and more about learning how to think like a lawyer, to see those nuances and make those connections that really impress the bar examiner.
Exactly. It's about developing that legal mindset that's so crucial for success on the bar exam.
Okay, now speaking of impressing those bar examiners, let's talk about one of the most feared aspects of the exam. The dreaded essay questions. Chapter 10 is all about analyzing past performance for future success. And I think this applies directly to those essay writing skills. It's not enough to just know the law. You have to be able to communicate it
Yeah.
clearly, concisely, and persuasively.
Right. And Celebration Bar Review's approach to essay writing is honestly impressive. They don't just throw you a bunch of sample essays and say, go figure it out. They break down the essay writing process into manageable steps, providing template strategies, and this is key, personalized feedback on your writing.
Because let's be honest, sometimes you just need someone to look at your work with fresh eyes and say, okay, this is great, but here's how you can make it even stronger.
Exactly. They'll help you identify your strengths and weaknesses as a writer, point out areas where your analysis could be sharper, and offer specific strategies for crafting those clear, concise, and persuasive arguments that really showcase your understanding of the law.
So it's about turning those past essay struggles into a roadmap for improvement, using those mistakes as stepping stones to build a stronger foundation for this next attempt.
It is. And they also recognize that different jurisdictions have different essay formats and expectations, so they tailor their guidance accordingly. They'll make sure you're familiar with the specific nuances of your jurisdiction's essay section so you can walk into that exam room feeling confident and prepared.
Okay, that's reassuring. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the MBE. Those multiple choice questions that can feel like a minefield. For many bar exam takers, I remember feeling so overwhelmed by the sheer number of questions, the tricky wording, the time pressure. It was intense.
Oh, yeah, I get that. And Chapter 11 really gets into the nitty-gritty of MBE mastery. Celebration Bar Review goes beyond just drilling you with practice questions. They teach you how to think like the test makers, how to anticipate the types of questions that might be asked, and how to avoid common pitfalls.
So it's like learning the secret code of the MBE, deciphering those tricky question stems, and understanding the logic behind the answer choices.
Exactly. They help you develop a deep understanding of the underlying legal concepts. So you're not just memorizing rules, but applying them to novel fact patterns. They also teach you how to manage your time effectively during the MBE portion of the exam, which is crucial because those minutes can fly by.
So no more staring blankly at the clock with 10 minutes left and 20 questions unanswered.
Hopefully not. They provide strategies for pacing yourself, eliminating answer choices strategically, and making educated guesses when needed. It's all about maximizing your chances of getting those points, even when you're not 100% sure of the answer.
Because sometimes it's about strategy as much as it is about knowledge, right?
Absolutely. And Celebration Bar Review really excels at teaching those strategic approaches that can make all the difference on exam day. They also recognize that the MBE can be a real mental drain. So they incorporate techniques for staying focused, managing test anxiety, and avoiding burnout.
Because, let's be honest, staring at hundreds of multiple choice questions for hours on end can be mentally exhausting. You need those strategies to stay sharp and engaged throughout the process.
You do. And they understand that everyone approaches the MBE differently, so they offer a variety of resources and strategies to cater to those individual learning styles. Some people learn best through practice questions, others through flashcards, and still others through visual aids. They've got you covered no matter your preferred learning method.
I like that a lot. And speaking of individual learning styles and approaches, let's talk about something that's often overlooked, but can be a game changer for bar exam success. Self-assessment. Chapter 12 focuses on this very concept, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, identifying your personal learning style, and creating a study plan that's tailored to your specific needs.
Yeah, this is where Celebration Bar Review's personalized approach really shines. They don't just throw you a generic study schedule and say, good luck. They work with you to understand your individual learning style, your strengths and weaknesses, and your overall goals. They help you identify those areas where you need to focus your energy, those concepts that might require a different approach, and those subjects where you can really excel.
So it's about creating a study plan that feels manageable and empowering, not overwhelming and daunting.
Exactly. And they also provide ongoing support and feedback throughout the process. They'll check in with you regularly, answer your questions, and help you adjust your study plan as needed.
Because, let's be honest, life happens. Things change. And sometimes you need to pivot your approach. It's comforting to know that you have that support system in place to help you navigate those changes and stay on track.
Absolutely. And they also recognize that the bar exam is just one step on your journey to becoming a lawyer. They provide resources and guidance to help you prepare for the next steps, whether that's finding a job, passing the character and fitness review, or getting sworn in.
So it's not just about passing the exam, it's about setting you up for success in your legal career.
Exactly. They're invested in your long-term success, not just your short-term performance on the bar exam.
I love that holistic approach. It's about more than just checking a box. It's about empowering you to achieve your dream of becoming a lawyer and thriving in that profession.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's important to emphasize that Celebration Bar Review isn't just about providing information, it's about building confidence. They want you to walk into that exam room feeling prepared, focused, and empowered to succeed.
Because confidence is key, right? When you believe in yourself and your abilities, it changes the whole game. You're not just hoping to pass, you're expecting to succeed.
Exactly. And that shift in mindset can make all the difference.
We'll be back in our next episode to wrap up our deep dive into overcoming bar exam failure, a guide for repeat takers, and explore even more strategies for conquering this challenge and achieving your dream of becoming a licensed attorney. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into overcoming bar exam failure, a guide for repeat takers. We've talked about everything from those mental hurdles and burnout to critical thinking and mastering the MBE, but there's one last key piece, and that's turning those past experiences into a strategic advantage.
Absolutely. It's so easy to look at a past bar exam failure and just see it as, a failure.
Hmm.
But Celebration Bar Review encourages a totally different perspective. They see it as a learning opportunity, a chance to gather intel and refine your approach for next time.
It's like that saying, right? You learn more from your losses than your wins. And with the bar exam, that couldn't be more true. You've been in the trenches. You've faced the beast. You've come away with insights that first-time takers just don't have.
I agree. And Celebration Bar Review helps you actually use those insights with their personalized feedback and one-on-one coaching. They don't just give you generic advice or throw a bunch of practice questions at you. They really work with you individually to analyze your past performance, pinpoint your strengths and weaknesses, and create a study plan that's actually tailored to your specific needs.
It's like having a personal trainer who's watched you run a marathon.
Yeah.
And now they're saying, okay, I saw where you slowed down, where you picked up the pace, where you hit those walls. Let's adjust your training so you can cross that finish line stronger next time.
Exactly. It's using your past experience to inform your future approach, to make those strategic adjustments. That can make all the difference on exam day.
Right? And let's talk about feedback, because that's one of the most valuable tools for turning past experiences into a strategic advantage. Chapter 13 dives into this, emphasizing how important it is to seek out specific actionable feedback on your practice essays and MBE questions.
And Celebration Bar Review is amazing at providing this kind of feedback. Their essay graders don't just mark your answers right or wrong, they give detailed explanations, highlighting where your analysis is strong, pointing out areas where you could improve your organization or legal reasoning, and offering specific strategies for crafting those clear, concise, persuasive arguments that bar examiners love.
It's like having a writing coach
Yeah.
who sits down with you and says, okay, let's break this essay down paragraph by paragraph. I see what you're going for here. But here's how you can make your argument stronger, your analysis sharper, and your writing more persuasive.
Exactly. And they also give you feedback on your MBE practice questions, helping you understand why you might have missed certain questions, identifying patterns in your mistakes, and offering strategies for avoiding those pitfalls next time.
So it's turning those aha moments into actual steps, right? Using the feedback to refine your approach, hone your skills, and build that confidence. That comes from knowing you're tackling your weaknesses head on.
Absolutely. And they understand that feedback goes both ways. They encourage you to ask questions, to seek clarification, and to really engage in open dialogue with your mentors and coaches.
It's about creating that collaborative learning environment where you feel comfortable asking for help, admitting when you're struggling, and celebrating those victories along the way. Because this journey, it's a roller coaster.
It is, and that's where Celebration Bar Review's emphasis on community and support really shines. They foster this sense of camaraderie among their students, creating a space where you can connect with others, going through the same thing, share your struggles and successes, and offer each other encouragement and advice.
Because sometimes just knowing you're not alone in this makes all the difference.
Yeah.
It's that shared understanding, that empathy and support from people who get it, that can help you stay motivated, focused, and resilient.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive into overcoming bar exam failure, a guide for repeat takers, I want to leave you with this. This isn't the end of your story, it's just a chapter. A challenging one, but a chapter nonetheless. You have the power to rewrite the ending, to turn this experience into a springboard for success.
You've got the knowledge, the resilience, the determination to achieve your dream of becoming a licensed attorney.
Yeah.
And Celebration Bar Review is there to provide the tools, the support, the guidance to help you make that dream a reality.
So go download that free ebook, Connect with Celebration Bar Review, and get ready to make this your S-Bar exam.
We're cheering you on every step of the way.